Hello, in this tutorial we're going to look at paragraphs, line breaks and headings in HTML. In the previous tutorial we looked at how to use a text editor to type HTML code and how to set up your very first HTML file or web page. Firstly, we'll have a look at how to actually display text on a web page and a few different ways of doing it. Now, in the previous tutorial, I showed how to use the p tag to make a paragraph. So you can use a p tag to display a paragraph of text. Now, when you use the p tag, it adds spacing, just like a normal paragraph would, between each paragraph or each block of text. So for example, if I put this as a paragraph, and then I make another paragraph, and I open that in the browser, you can see that it's added spacing here. So using the p tag has created paragraphs with spacing between them. However, you don't necessarily need to use the paragraph tag to type in text. So for example, you could put this is a line of text, save that and view it in the browser, and then that will still display a line of text there. So you still have a line of text. If you go down to the next line and you put this is another line of text, you might expect that the first line will display there and then the second line of text will display underneath it, because that's how you've entered it here in the HTML document. But if you save it and open it in the browser, that's not the case. So you have this is a line of text, and then the second line that we typed in the HTML document has actually just gone next to the first line. So it's all on one line instead of being on two lines. Okay? And that's not the way that we typed it in the document. We typed it as two lines. But because we're not using any tags here, the text isn't being formatted. So we're not actually telling the browser how to actually display this text. So we could either put these in paragraph tags to have them as separate paragraphs, but if we just want to have them on separate lines and not as separate paragraphs, then there's another tag we can use, and that's the line break tag, or BR, with the / after it. And what that will do is basically it will display this line of text, and then it will make a new line and display the second line of text. So it's kind of like hitting the enter key to display a second line of text. So we can have a look at that in the browser. And as you can see now, it's separated that text across two lines, but there's no paragraph spacing between the two lines. So that's something that you can do. So you can use the paragraph tag for different paragraphs, or you can just use the break tag to add to create a new line for your text. Okay, so we could have just some simple text here and a break. We could have a paragraph here using the paragraph tag, and then we could add a heading. And actually, because we're putting a heading, it should probably be above the other text. Okay, and to create headings, we can use 6 different tags, H1 to H6. H1 is the largest heading. So H1, and they go all the way up to H6. So you've got H2, H3, 4, 5, all the way up to H6, which is the smallest heading. Okay, so if we have a look at that in the browser, we have a H1 heading here, H1 size, and then we have a H6 size heading there. So we could have something in between like H3, say this is a medium heading, and have a look at that. So we have a medium size heading there using the H3 tag. So for your headings, you can use any of those H tags from H1 up to H6. If you try and use a H7 tag, it will basically display it as normal size paragraph text. So it won't actually be a heading. Okay, so that's how to use the paragraph tag, how to use line breaks, and how to use headings. Thanks for watching.